Good morning, Washington and friends. This is Dan with Supporting Systems, and I just want to take a minute to expand on yesterday's um, events in the State House of Representatives, as well as what's happening today and what kind of problems we're dealing with there. So late last night, about 11 p.m., House Bill 1143 was passed by the House of Representatives. It will now go over to the Senate for passage. And all indications are in the Senate is they will pass it with no amendments over there as well. They have the votes to do it and the political might to force folks to vote for it, even if some Democrats don't want to. So that is in process. The permit to purchase has passed the House. It will be in the Senate and then be moving through. And it's an effective date of January 1st, 2024, which was it did move it up a year. There were some basic changes to it, which made it a little easier to implement, but it has passed. The next one that's happening today now is House Bill 1240, which is the semi-automatic rifle ban. I fully expect they'll pull that up for vote in the evening or late evening session tonight, as they like to pass gun laws at the darkness of night. Last night, the House Republicans did a great job presenting several hours of what I would call debate into the empty skulls of the House Democrats. The Republicans presented coherent, lawful, applicable arguments as to why the permitting process was so flawed and how it violates the U.S. Constitution. They did a wonderful job. State Democrats really didn't stand up and say anything other than say, we support this bill, please pass it. And very few of them even said that. So yeah, it was nice to see hours burned off the clock, but in the end, it was going to pass, and the Democrats knew it. So expect the same thing with the semi-automatic rifle ban today. It's going to pass. There's not going to be any amendments to it. When it goes over to the Senate, they will very likely pass it through the same way with no amendments. So it doesn't need to go to conference committee, but it goes straight to the governor's desk to be signed. And the semi-automatic rifle ban is effective immediately upon signature. So huge problems with that for you folks on waiting periods. That immediate implementation doesn't waive the 10-day waiting period that's in place from 1639. So if you haven't received the firearm, you have purchased it, you have done your background check, and you're just waiting for it to be delivered in that 10-day waiting period, 10 business day waiting period, you won't get your gun. And so you will then have a constitutional case against the state of Washington under the takings clause, because they are going to ban you from the possession of your product that was acquired lawfully and legally, with no compensation for that. Think of it as eminent domain, but without ever receiving a check. So it's going to get complicated. If you're trying to buy online and do stuff like that, you're dealing with shipping and the delays from that, in addition to the receiving it at the FFL, processing it, then doing your background checks, so on and so forth. That's going to be rough. If you're doing a pistol brace Form 1 application, it's going to be a huge challenge, because the ATF will be required to deny those applications if this is passed, and 1240 is the law of the land. So you will have just put your name on a list for the ATF and for the state, saying you have this, and you want to register it, but you can't. So interesting things happening. Oath of office violations, a clean and willful violation of their representatives' oaths of office. They have an obligation to uphold the state and the federal constitutions, and they're voting directly in opposition to that. They're voting directly in opposition to direction provided by the Supreme Court. And the state legislature is completely ignoring NYSERPA versus Bruin. And they're actually following the path right now. New Jersey is ahead of the game on this with their sensitive places laws that they've pushed through. And Judge Renee Bum back there has already warned New Jersey. And when the state Senate leader and House leader in New Jersey filed to intervene in that federal case where she is placing an injunction on their law, she flat told them they should have been better prepared to defend a law that they knew were going to be challenged. And frankly, they didn't. They didn't come prepared to defend it in her courtroom, nor did they address it in the crafting of the legislative work. So she really admonished them for their irresponsible use of their legislative authority, and that's exactly what we see happening here in Washington. They are using the last little bit of energy they have on gun control for fundraising, for virtue signaling, for division, and not solving any of the criminal problems that we have in the state of Washington or elsewhere around the country. They're just virtue signaling, and they refuse to have a real conversation about resolving any criminal activity here in the state of Washington. They're actually passing laws to lessen penalties for using a firearm in a crime, to make it harder for police to do their work, and not passing the police pursuit reform that was bipartisan. There's like 80 votes for it in the House, but the party won't let it go forth, and sensitive Democrats won't buck the party because they don't want to get primaried out by their own party with a candidate that's farther left than what they are. So it's going to be interesting. Now I'm going to ask something that we post all the time, and I take a fair amount of grief for it. I'm going to ask you to be patient with gun shops. It is going to get plumb crazy busy. If you thought the run up to 1639 was crazy busy, this is going to look a lot like what happened down in Oregon. It's going to be overwhelming on the firearm industry here in Washington. The staff are already running ragged because we can't hire enough staff. The patience of just everybody seems to have gone away over the last several years. Everybody wants everything right now, and our job is to get everything for you right now and get everything for you as fast as we can in compliance with the laws that we operate within. But please be patient with your local gun shops. Please be patient with the staff. Be courteous and kind to them. They're going to do nothing but try to be courteous and kind to you. But I've had to throw more people out of the store in the past 2 years than I have in the last 30, with people that just lose their cool and can't keep their wits about them. So please be patient with the local shops. Support the local shops. They're going to need it more than ever right now. The passage of these things are going to be huge financial blows to the shops and to the staffs that work there. So please be patient. There are lawsuits coming. I've spoken with several groups that I know are going to be filing, that have already retained the legal firms. They've essentially already written the lawsuits. It's just a matter of waiting for the final passage so that there is both standing to file and that you've addressed each individual specific component of the law as it's been passed. So it's coming. Be patient on that aspect of it. But remember, we are in the dying days of a constitutional republic, and that's what we are. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. It's straight up majority rule at this point. The guardrails that the U.S. Constitution provided for, so that it wasn't two wolves and a sheep deciding who's for dinner. Those guardrails have been removed and simply ignored by the ruling party here, and it's presenting a very, very dangerous time for folks' constitutional rights. So please, again, be patient, be supportive of your local shops, be supportive of those groups that are preparing to file lawsuits. Don't go down the rabbit holes and pointing fingers at what group did the most or what group did the least. Every major gun control uh, uh, pro-gun group is here and is working on the ground to see these things out in both the court and in the legislature. So let's all stick together right now. Be nice, support those local shops, and we will see you on the other side of all of this. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great day.